What up? What up? What up? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Transformation Tuesday. You know what it is. Man, just got finished the burn with Coach Jeff. If you didn't catch that, make sure you catch that replay. Um, yeah, I'm back. It's been a long time since I've been able to do a Tuesday burn, and man, it was really good to do those. What's up, Brenda, Crystal? Hey, tag your friends. Let them know it's Transformation Tuesday. I have another awesome guest. Um, this one I actually know pretty well, and I wanted to get him on to share a story. Good friend of mine. But as we get ready, like I said, tag your friends. Let them know Transformation Tuesday. What's going on? What's up, y'all? Yeah, so yeah, did the burn, and yeah, I'm burning. It's been a long time since I've been able to do the burn, but I am happy to be back, man. I will say this as you're coming in, tagging people, what's going on? Sanya and Priscilla, Kathy, what's going on? I will say this, man. After going through bodybuilding prep, it actually made me appreciate E2M even more. I did a random live last week just talking about just everything I went through with that, and man, I we have it so good in E2M, man. Jeff has done all the science, and we don't have to do a lot of the tedious things that I had to do with bodybuilding, man. If we just follow his plan, it works. That's just the way it goes, man. So um I just want to let y'all know, man, this is a great place. And why wouldn't you want to tell somebody about it, man? It works. You know it works. That's why you're here. Tell people about the program. It's time. It's getting that time again to tell people about the program. Spread the word about E2M so that we can keep this program going. I'm telling y'all, that's right. That's right, Cynthia. Yeah, it works. Oh man, I didn't do anything. I was just kind of a tag along with Jeff for the burn. So I was thanking me for the burn. That's all Jeff. So all right, gang, I'm gonna bring on my special guest today, my brother Jeff. Man, how you doing? Speaking of Jeff, we got another Jeff on here.
Hey, Dawain, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great, my
Good
friend.
to see
I
you, man.
appreciate you taking out your time to come on, Jeff, man. And for those that don't know you, Jeff, man, I'm gonna give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about your health journey and then how you found E2M. I kind of know how you found it, but
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
Well, my journey kind of really began about 16 years ago when my mom passed away from cancer. My dad's 5 months after her from cancer. And that kind of set me for a loop. Um, I got into some of the wrong behaviors. Um, I went back to my teenage years, found my old friends I used to hang out with in the teenage years, and turned back into the uh, party animal for a little. and so then, as we 10 years ago, I was 300 pounds and I was on blood pressure meds. And from those blood pressure meds that were probably more than I needed, I blacked out one night at a concert in the bathroom and hit my head. It was kind of a dirty thing. Hit my head on a urinal when I blacked out standing straight up.
Ooh.
Messed my face up pretty bad, as everybody can see, and ended up with a spinal cord injury. When
Mm.
I woke up on the floor of the bathroom, I couldn't move. Couldn't move anything, arms, legs, or anything. As the night went on, I got to where I was able to move my arms, move my fingers, move my toes, but I had no strength in any of my limbs at all. Um, it took me a little while to get back from that. Tried to go back to work, couldn't go back to work because I kept hurting myself because I didn't have the strength that I once had. And so then I was put on disability and for a little, didn't know what to do for a while. Just had to kind of work on myself to try to get myself to where I could just walk around without having to use a walker to walk around. And so then uh, I ended up becoming the caregiver for my grandmother 7 years ago. And I stayed with her because my brother had just got married and he and I were living together. And I said, I need to get out of the house and let these two newlyweds do what they do.
Right.
And so I decided I was going to live with my grandmother and try to take care of her as she was living through the last years of her life and going through dementia. And I didn't realize what I was getting into at the time. That was tough. It was hard. And a couple of years ago, she finally passed away at the age of 99, a couple of days after her birthday. Uh, Before that, my brother had died.
Mm.
And just a month or two after that, one of my closest cousins had passed away.
Wow.
And this was all in 2021. So a little bit later that year, I was trying to figure out some things to do, and I decided to take me a trip to the DC G3 conference, where I knew you would be at,
Oh
and
yeah.
I knew see some other friends of ours. And so I'm sitting down one morning in the Holiday Inn uh, restaurant eating the free breakfast, sitting there with our buddy Jimmy. And all of a sudden, I hear this voice saying, Jeff. And I knew it was you. And because I know your voice from the podcast and everything. And I turned around and I looked and I was like, well, I know that's Dwayne's voice, but I don't see the same Dwayne that I. And I had been following you on kind of not really closely on with your E2M post and everything, but I wasn't really kind of getting into it. And when I saw you, I was like, man, I think the first words out of my mouth is, what are you doing?
Yep.
How do you do that? And you told me about E2M and told me I should join and get started. You kind of gave me the whole rundown on it. And I said, well, let me think about this. And that was my way of saying, I ain't going to do it right now. And, and so still a couple of months passed. And finally in March of 2023, I started my first round. And from there, it's been just the best decision, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. It has changed my life completely.
Absolutely, bro. And we're gonna get in some details on that. I wanted to break right here, man. First, you're getting a lot of love in the comment section. Everybody saying, "Hey, Jeff," and then everybody saying they love your shirt, man. Nobody cares. Work harder. I love it too, man. I mean that's kind of that's Jeff, y'all. Because it's kind of give you some background. After he signed up, of course, if you connect with me and you sign up, I'm gonna take care of you. Ain't that right, Jeff? I'm gonna take care
Yeah,
of you.
absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, man, I missed you when you were doing your bodybuilding thing.
Yeah. I got a little
You were
ghost
still
on that,
there,
man.
but it was more in the background. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you joined E2M. You had tried weight loss yourself. You had a little success. I remember
uh-huh,
we talked about that.
I
What
did.
made this different than anything else you ever done?
The structure.
Mm,
You had a way of doing things. When I saw you in DC, I had lost about 70 pounds on my own
mm-hmm.
from a high of 312, and I had lost about 70 pounds. Um, there was probably I had quit eating carbs. I had cut out all carbs on my own. I had cut out a lot of fast food, but I still had some of the fast food because I was a fast food junkie.
Oh yeah,
Uh, I'm sure Jeff has said that in some of his lives and all. He was probably a fast food junkie too. All of us probably have been at one time or another in our
absolutely.
lives. And so but the problem was that I kept backsliding on that. I didn't have anything to keep me to for the progress, and my progress stalled. And it stalled up until the point where I finally said, well, let me give this a shot.
Mm,
Because I had tried other different things before I decided to lose weight on my own without any kind of program or anything. And I said, well, let me give this a shot because I knew you and I
Mm-hmm.
knew you wouldn't steer me the wrong way. And so, that first week, man, I was hating getting up in the morning because after that spinal cord injury, I was afraid of workouts
Mm-hmm.
because anything that I did when I tried to go back to work made me hurt myself. And so I was afraid. And so I just said, well, nobody ain't looking at me. And they talked about the modifications and everything. And I said, well, I'll just modify on things I know I got to modify on. And it's worked out great.
Absolutely, man. And I'm glad you brought up that. And Mandy says it all the time. Modification works, man. And I've watched. I had a front row seat of you going from modifications to you walking to you knocking out burn exercises to run, like all kind of different milestones, man. Let's talk about some of those milestones. 'Cause I think this week you're talking about what you can do now. What are some things? Oh, I know you got a list for this one.
Oh,
What are
yeah.
some things that you can do now that you could not do before E2M?
I could not do, I could do maybe, if I was lucky, a half a push up. Now I can do 20 to 25 during the circuits.
That's amazing.
I could not do flutter kicks to save my life. It took me up until this year actually to get where I could do all 5 rounds of flutter kicks. And I'm glad Alicia pushes us on that on Friday mornings and all. At first I didn't like it. I couldn't. I was like, man, Friday morning and flutter kicks again? No, can't deal with this. And then and so, but then once I finally conquered that mountain, I was thinking, man, come on, let's do something else now. Try something else. And I still can't do those plank tucks like we've been doing this week because, I mean, they hard, but I can do mountain climbers when I couldn't do them to start with either.
That's right. Listen, man, I still can't hardly do plank tucks, man. What you talking about? Listen, that's one thing I still struggle with, brother. Don't feel bad about that. And you, I mean, you know where I've been. So, but no, that's amazing, Jeff. And that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why I wanted to bring you on, man, because um when I hear stories like yours, what it tells me is what I hear in the back of my mind is, what's your excuse? You know,
Mm.
what's your excuse? What's keeping you from doing it? Tragedy happened in your life, made you realize, hey, I need to be healthy. You made a decision and you started making things happen, man. So I want to publicly tell you how much I'm proud of you, man. I tell you that all the time,
Thank you.
but it was just amazing to see, man. So I know the answer to this, but I want you to tell the folks, man. Talk about the E2M community, man, and the I mean, because you go to a lot of meetups. I seen some people in the
Yeah.
comments saying, I met Jeff at this meetup, that meetup, man. Talk about the community, the meetups, and that experience, and how that helped with your fitness journey.
Oh, it is the number one thing. I should have mentioned that first before I mentioned the structure of the program, really, because it is the number one thing that keeps me going. Um, People are just so willing to jump up and help. And I let me just give an example. I was in Hawaii 2 weeks ago, and everybody's going, "Yeah, you got a tough life," but not so. But that was the first time. The first time I went to Hawaii a year ago. Well, I was in week 3. I was in week 3 of the round of my anniversary round this year when I went. Um, Last year, I stuck to the program like you wouldn't believe.
I
I found
remember.
all the right restaurants. This year, full. I'm not gonna lie.
Be real, man.
I messed it up. I did. I ate bad on a lot of days. Uh, I didn't eat every meal bad, but I did eat meals on days, cheat meals on days when I shouldn't have been eating cheat meals. And that was probably a lot because I was not engaged at the time.
Mm,
I wasn't, I mean, I was posting pictures, but I was posting a lot of pictures of what I was doing. here and there and everything, and wasn't really focused as much on the group. I still got my exercise in. I still got my circuits in the morning, and I actually because of E2M and those 9 days, I put in 75 miles of walking,
Wow.
and I was extremely and you know then I get back home and I'm like, man, I can barely make 4 miles now, but it's probably a lot of it has to do with the environment. But people have kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's something that I'd like to tell everybody and want everybody to know that if you're struggling, talk about it. If you eat a bad meal, go ahead and tell some, but don't be ashamed of it. Go ahead and tell people and somebody in the group about it because they ain't going to give you a hard time. They're just going to encourage you to do better next time.
Absolutely. Listen, you walked all those miles. You could afford to eat a couple of bad meals, man. That's for sure.
Uh,
But no, Jeff, that's amazing, bro. And I remember when you went to Hawaii last year, and you were able to go this year. And I remember, I'm gonna touch on this before we start to close out. I remember when you went to Hawaii, it was only like you say your third week, but you were talking about how much more energy you had just in
mhm.
that third week, of being when you was in Hawaii, like you was able to do more activities and things like that, man. It's the little things like that. So I imagine the activities are on a whole nother level, walking 75 miles, this year. Talk
Oh
about that.
yeah, yeah. That was it was incredible. I was doing a lot of going up those mountains in Hawaii, the volcanic mountains and stuff like that. I did a lot of those types of activities that just gave me the opportunity, and then just walking up and down the main street and with all the people up there, in the daytime, and I really like it because there's just so much to do and so much to see that you just walk back and forth, and before you know it, you've already covered 10 miles in a day.
Yeah.
And I was just in shock several days that I was like 10 miles, I don't even feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Like I'm
amazing. Yeah.
ready to.
Think about when you were 300, man. There ain't no way you could have made it 10 miles.
No, no, my feet would have been well. When I was in DC, I was having trouble the last day I was there. I was trying to go see all the historic sites and everything, and I
Yep.
was like, when I got to 7 miles that day, I was like, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
toast. I had to call me an
Absolutely.
Uber to go back to my hotel. So,
I get that, man. I get that. Well, look, no more Uber unless it's necessary.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, listen, Jeff, bro, I appreciate you again for coming on with me and sharing your story, man. Like I said, I knew I had a front row seat of it, and I knew it would inspire many people. I can see it in the comments. So, anything you want to leave with the folks before I pull you off the screen and close this out?
I just got one thing I want to shout out the person that gave me this shirt. She's a member of the group, Charlene McKay. I know a lot of
Nice.
you know her. And I saw her with the shirt on in one of her pictures, and I said, "Man, I want one of those shirts." And she's like, "Send me your address and your size, and I'll send it to you." And when I sent it
That's
to her, I
amazing.
asked her how much I owed her, and all. Don't worry about it; it's all good. So that's how amazing this group is. The only way I know Charlene is from E2M, but as far as I'm concerned, Charlene is my friend.
That's right.
And there's a lot of other people in this group too that I've met at meetups. No, you actually got me to my first meetup in Raleigh, and it was just a local meetup. And from there, I was like, man, I got to do another one. I got to do a big one. So then I went to Philly, and that was off the chain. I mean, I loved it. So, and I've been to several more since then.
That's
I'm
right.
unfortunately going to miss Atlanta because I'm going to be out of town that week. But I am going to be in Raleigh this year. So,
There you go. Y'all be on the lookout for Jeff, man. So Jeff, thank you again, my friend. We will be definitely talking to you soon. And hey, E2M fam, as we get ready to close it out, went 20 minutes. My apologies, but hey, like Jeff said, if you gotta go, go. But in closing, I want to remind you, how amazing this group is. And then, another thing, another takeaway from this is, Jeff talked about, not necessarily being 100% on plan. You have to be able to forgive yourself. You have to be able to put it past you. This is more than 8 weeks. A lot of you new G's are going to see this. This is 8 weeks is what we advertise, but this is a lifestyle. And lifestyles means we're going to get up, we're going to fall down, we're going to stumble, we're going to triumph, we're going to lose, we're going to win, everything. All the things are going to happen during your journey, man. But we're here with you. You got a community with you. And while you are winning and failing and all of those things, remember, share the group with somebody. Till next time, y'all. Peace.